Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is a stitch with me. So I decided to record this yesterday on Sunday when I sat down to stitch for a good bit. And this was actually at the suggestion of Bill, which I will talk about in a minute. So I'm doing a voiceover today on Monday. Today is Monday, May 16th. And I had a whole list of topics which I will still talk about, but I have to say I was thrown for a loop this morning when I was contacted by my stepfather to say that one of my ex-boyfriends passed away today. And in a nutshell, when I separated from my first husband, I moved in with my mom and my stepdad for 6 months. And at that time, he was in a band part-time on the weekends. And now you got to remember, my stepfather is only 7 years older than me, okay? And I started dating one of the band members because it was somebody he had went to school with and all that. Well, to put it bluntly, the relationship was a mess. The guy was an ass, basically. And then it's been, my God, since 2002. That's been 20 years ago, right? And we became Facebook friends again, like in contact a little bit a year ago. And didn't really talk. I mean, you know, how being Facebook friends can be. And I had heard through the grapevine that he was diagnosed with diabetes and he had some issues with that. Well, come to find out, yesterday my mom had messaged me and said she had seen a post on Facebook that he had a stroke and he was in the hospital. And I was like, oh man, that's awful, right? And then today he passed away. Well, apparently he stopped taking his blood pressure medicine. And while I don't know like the inner workings of his mind or the situation, I don't know anything about that. I don't understand when people don't take medication, especially medication like that. My father's mother, right before I met my father, actually, she passed away for the same reason. She stopped taking her high blood pressure medicine. And I'm just like, why? I don't understand why you would stop taking, of all medicines, that one. So it's very unfortunate because 55 years old is way too young to die. It's very unfortunate. So yeah, I was kind of just thrown for a loop this morning by that. You know, when you hear stuff like that, it makes you think about your own choices in your own life. And you realize that, man, a lot of the stuff that we bitch and complain about just means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. So this is the stitching piece, of course, is Heart and Hands Red Round Sampler. And I'm stitching it on perforated paper, pink frost perforated paper. And I'm using DMC color variations. I can't remember the color number. I don't have it right next to me. And actually, after I recorded this video, I finished the piece. So I'm hoping today to do a junk journal entry with it, and I'll be able to show that to you in tomorrow's video. So I am off work today, and boy, let me tell you, so the weekend was good. Saturday was just busy with, I had a massage, we did stuff in the morning. There were just things I was trying to get done, and I just there was no way a video was happening. So, and then Saturday, I wound up taking like a 2-hour nap in the afternoon before dinner. And then Sunday, Bill made breakfast and groceries came. And then we went to Costco. And then by the time we came home and did all that, it was like 2:00, and he decided to go outside and try to clean up his shed. And that's when I said, I'm going to sit down and do some stitching, because I didn't do any stitching on Saturday. So I'm still on the fence about finishing this, whether to keep the washi tape around the outside or cut it into a circle. I think I'm going to cut it into a circle because it's something different. Most projects don't allow you to do that, right? Like they don't give you the aesthetic to do that. So I really think I'm going to cut it into a circle. I haven't even pulled out paper or looked at scrapbook paper or anything yet. I know I am going to cover the back of it first and then cut it, because remember, I cover the back with scrapbook paper that is of a similar color. So when I was filming this video, I was listening to Peter Mon's latest vlog, and I am so glad he's back on YouTube, but apparently he has been receiving, do I want to say hate, for just like coming back to YouTube, which I don't quite understand, because it's been like 3 months since his accident. And just because he is recovering and getting on with his life doesn't mean that he doesn't think about what happened in the accident every single day. So I don't quite understand why people think he's not allowed to have a life. I don't quite understand that. It's very unfortunate, because I feel like Peter is one of the most empathetic people I've seen on YouTube. So I'm actually surprised he's come back already, because I thought that what happened in the accident would have just really affected him mentally. Not that it hasn't, but he's been, and he says this in his videos, he's been seeing a therapist twice a week, and he's still going to his support group because he is like 28 years sober, something like that. And he has, friends and family and a husband, and it was an accident. I mean, what happened. So yeah, I don't quite understand, but I'm really glad he's back. I've been watching his vlogs, and he had one drama video so far. Yeah, I just don't get it. But okay, so I had someone comment on one of my videos, and they said, I think it was the one where I was talking about wanting to color again. The video that I showed my coloring pages I had completed. And they, in a nutshell, they said, what do you do with your coloring pages? Do you do, like, what's the purpose of doing them? Is it just to put them in a portfolio and put it on a shelf? And they said, the same thing with large diamond paintings. People just put it back in the box or just don't do anything with it. Well, I hang every diamond painting I've completed is hung in my house and framed as of right now. Or it's in my portfolio. I do have my partials in a portfolio. But as far as doing any kind of craft, whether it's diamond painting or coloring or even cross stitch, it's more about the act of doing a craft and being able to sort of escape and zone out. Like for me, coloring and diamond painting and cross stitching, it's very meditative. I don't know if that's the right word. Like it is very calming, and it makes you focus on that versus, normal everyday life. Not that I'm trying to constantly escape my life, but it's nice to sit down and have something creative like that has nothing to do with anyone else or my job or anything like that. I still have a little bit of a cough, but it is much, much better than it was. And I wrote back and I said, I hang my diamond paintings, but it's actually the physical act of it, of doing it, that brings me joy. And there are plenty of people that will do tons of cross stitch and put them in a drawer and they never see the light of day. They're never finished, they're never framed, and they're okay with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand why people feel like everything has to have an end game. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of people that are process stitchers, meaning they like the process of doing it, and it doesn't need to be framed or finished at the end. For me, I like to finish the stuff I'm doing, and the junk journal is the perfect way for me to do it because it's a book that sits on a shelf that I can pull out and look at. And it's actually not in a drawer. It's actually on my little 3-tier drawer thing. But it's not taking up any other space on my walls, because when I say I have no space, literally to hang something else up, I would have to pull something off the wall. And I've actually been toying with the idea of maybe selling some of my finished pieces. I don't know what they would garner as far as price, but it would be nice to maybe replace some of these things with newer stuff, with other stuff I've been stitching. I'm still toying with that idea. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm bothered when people try to feel like you have to be put in this box of you have to do the craft this way. Nope. No. You can do it any old way you want to do it. However it works for you. So let's talk about the channel for a second, because me doing this stitch with me, before I got a new chair in my office, and before I cleaned out everything, I thought I had pretty much figured out how to record a stitch with me effectively. Meaning the challenge is having the overhead camera angle on the stitching. And we were sitting in here, was it Saturday? Friday? I think it was Friday. And we were talking about the channel or about something, and he says, it seems like you're done with the channel, like you're not trying to improve it. And I was like, excuse me? Why do I need to improve my channel? I think my channel is just fine the way that it is. And because he suggested, well, why don't you put a clip of you stitching in the middle and kind of speed it up and put music to it? And he's suggesting all these things, and I wasn't shooting them down, but I was like, I got to figure out how to do a stitch with me. I said, I've actually been toying with the idea again of doing it. I said, but you realize that to do a stitch with me, I usually record the stitching and do a voiceover. I said, so it's like I'm doing double the work, right? And I love my husband very much, but all of his suggestions come from someone who's never had a channel, who doesn't try to do it with their job. I think he would find, he really doesn't know what it takes to do it and to have it done in a pleasing manner, right? And the editing and all of that. And when he said, about you don't want to try to improve it, why do I constantly need to be changing what I do on my channel? How would doing a stitch with me improve my channel? Because I think he is saying that because my ad revenue has gone down a little bit. And I feel like, their ad revenue is different in different months for YouTube. And I think like September through December are the highest ad revenues because of the Christmas season. So think about, it's almost likened to Super Bowl. Like how much advertisers pay for commercials during the Super Bowl is ridiculous, right? It's astronomical compared to what they pay any other time during the year. So because people are shopping more at the Christmas season, advertisers are probably paying more money for those ads, hence higher ad revenue for the creators. So we're in May. And yeah, I mean, the revenue, I think, is not as much as it's going to be in a couple of months. But to constantly feel like I have to rework my channel, do something different, no. Nope. I told him, I said, I feel like I'm pretty genuine on my channel. And I have to go with the flow of it. I've always said that. I've always also told people, if you want one piece of advice from me about starting a channel, it's not to start it with the intention of making money. You have to start it with the intention of loving whatever you're going to be talking about. And if people find you, the money will follow, right? There's no way, from what I get from ad revenue, couldn't even come close to me not being able to do this as a full-time job. I have like 33,000 subscribers. I might get 2,000 views a video. That's not nearly enough. And, the people that, and I've told him this too, the people that watch, they're invested. The people, the same people that come back and comment and watch every day, they're invested, I said, in our life, in what we do, in things that happen, in what I'm crafting, in the true crime stories, in whatever. They are invested in the channel. There are people that have been with me since the inception of my channel, which July 17th of this year is going to be 6 years I've had this channel. I would have never imagined 6 years ago that I would still have this channel 6 years later. So it's just about staying with it. I told him, I said, I'll stay with it as long as it's still here and I have stuff to talk about and I still want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second and talk really quick about this earring thing. So when I cleaned out my earrings, I cleaned out jewelry in my bedroom and everything. This is actually an IKEA picture frame, and you slip a picture in the top of it. And what I'm using is perforated paper. I cut a piece of perforated paper and I have the earrings on that. And these are like my absolute favorite earrings that I wear. I had way too many. I had like these little junky ones I'd gotten from, I don't know, that I wasn't going to wear. So I literally went through and I replaced the paper in that. And yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. And then here is the Unfuck Yourself entry for Saturday and Sunday. Confusion is a great way. I didn't finish reading it. But if you were looking at the camera then, or the screen then, you saw what it was. I will read the entry for today. But yeah, and not to mention, and I've said this to him many, 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 many times. Since I have started my channel, YouTube has become so saturated. Everyone has a channel, especially in Flosstube and cross stitch. Tons. When I started, there were a handful of people. Really was a handful. And then it exploded. It exploded on the Stitch Mania group on Facebook because the two moderators, Garrett and Katie, they both had a channel. And they were the first ones I ever watched. And everyone started a channel. And now, literally, I can't even possibly keep up with everyone who does a channel. And, I told my husband too, I said, I feel like I kind of have a niche in there. I said, I don't know anyone else that does a video 5-6 days a week. Not that I'm trying to toot my own horn or celebrate that, because some days I get on here and I don't have too much to say. I said, most people do a video once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. I said, so you have to be genuine. People will know if you're not. They will know if, yeah. So he kind of like pissed me off a little bit because I'm just like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do that I'm currently not doing? And he really didn't have an answer. I was just like, I don't know what you want from me with this channel, right? Okay. So normally in the course of a week, Monday through Friday, most of the time won't go anywhere because I'm working, or if I'm not working, I'm still here. This past week, though, 3 or 4 days of the week, I was out going to the post office to drop off the eBay auctions. So when I was coming back from the post office on Friday, I have to come back and I have to make a right next to a gas station to go on one of the main roads that is leading to our house. So I make the right, and someone pulls out of the gas station in front of me when I'm almost on top of them, and they didn't even look in my direction. If I wouldn't have been paying attention, if I would have been distracted for like 2 seconds, I would have plowed right into them. But that's not even the kicker. That's not even why I'm telling you this story. So this person is going 30 miles an hour in a 40, which that's my favorite. Absolutely love that. So they finally turn off before I have to. And the person that was in front of them is in like I want to say like it's not an SUV, but it's not a car. It's like a smaller SUV, I guess. I noticed them kind of weaving in the lane, and I'm like, I need to be giving them a wide berth, right? And immediately when I see that, I'm thinking that they are on their phone, looking at something, texting somebody, because you see it all the time. All of a sudden, and I fucking shit you not, they are driving in the wrong lane into oncoming traffic for like a solid 2 minutes. I actually went to grab my phone to call 911 when they then got over back into my lane. I mean, and I was like, what did I just see? I couldn't believe my eyes. They were riding in that lane like they were riding in the UK. Like the other lane was the right lane. A car pulled over to avoid hitting them head on. I was just like, what is happening? And when I told Bill about it, he was like, it was probably a dare. What? Is this what we're doing now? No, let's not. I've never witnessed firsthand something like that. I just could not. If someone had come around that bend, because the road I was on was kind of a windy, curvy road, if someone had come around the bend even minutely fast, because some people will really fly down that road, that would have been a horrific accident. Yeah, just crazy, nutty, insane. Okay, so here's another good one. So remember I told you when I cleaned out my coloring books, it kind of renewed the love of coloring for me. And I decided I wanted to get my Johanna Basford because I have all of her books. And I have all of her books spiral bound except this one, and I don't quite understand why I never did. I wanted to get that one spiral bound, and I've had all these other books spiral bound at Office Depot. I mean, I probably had 20 or 30 books spiral bound there. So I decide to, before Bill gets home from work on Friday, I decide to ride up to Office Depot. Now I have the book. I go in, there's no one at the print and copy desk, which is where you have to go. And when I go up to the counter, the woman says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to get this spiral bound." And she says, "We can't do that." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, we can't." She said, are you the author of this book? Did you make this book? No, I bought this book. It's a coloring book for my own personal use. And she says, "Yeah, we're not allowed to cut the binding off of it." What? I said, "I've had like 20 or 30 books spiral bound here like this in the past 2 years. And she's like, "Well, they shouldn't have done that." I was flabbergasted. I was dumbfounded. And so I just came home. When I came home and I told Jill, she's like, "I would have asked to see a manager." And I'm like, At that minute, I just didn't have the energy to like fight it. Well, when I told Bill, he was like, give me the phone. See, he doesn't let stuff like that lie because so he called, asked to speak to a manager, and then he was put on hold for 17 minutes before he hung up. And so I got on Office Depot Corporate, which I don't expect to have a response. And I live chatted with someone and explained the situation. And they said, I even gave them the store number and everything. And they said, okay, I'm going to send this to an agent. We'll get back to you. Well, I haven't had a response, but at least I did say something. But I was like, okay, well, I still want to get it spiral bound. So I wound up contacting the UPS store, and they'll do it. They do spiral binding, just to let you know. But yeah, to say my mouth probably hung open when she said, no, we can't do that. What? You've got to be kidding me right now. Yeah. Okay. And, in cleaning out my coloring stuff, and I did save a set of Prismacolors. So those are the pencils I have in addition to the Amazon ones. The Prismacolors are a lot better for me. But if you're on a budget, the Amazon ones are great. So I decided, and I told Bill this the other day, I said, I started watching coloring videos again on YouTube, like tutorials and instructional videos and things like that. I said, I really want to try to master it. Not put a ton of pressure on myself because I watched this one YouTuber. It's called Pamela's something, coloring something. And she's like, you have to enjoy the process instead of just constantly comparing yourself to other coloring artists and trying to make your work perfect, right? So I have watched so many videos, but I haven't really colored a picture yet. So I think I'm going to today. But I'm really looking forward because I told Bill, I said, I think I can master it. I really do think I can because I understand about shading. And this woman, Pamela, she has a Facebook group too, which I joined. She is of the mindset, and it makes sense that when you pick a color, like if you're going to pick a green for leaves, you pick 3 shades of green. You're trying to add like dimension and depth to these things. And man, there is a colorist called Chris Cheng, and she is amazing. I watched one of her like just coloring videos where she colored a picture in Johanna Basford's Magical Jungle Book. Oh my God. That's goals. That person's coloring is goals. It is amazing. So, and there's so many videos out there. I have so many still bookmarked because I have some Hannah Lynn coloring books, which I really like. And I want to be able to color those, well, with pencil. I mean, I have markers, but I want to be able to really do the shading and all of that. So I'm going to be endeavoring to do that. And I will show you guys my updated progress. So I think my next stitching project is going to be the needle print and play from Just Another Button Company, the rabbit one that came out at Nashville, because I already have it kitted up. I already have the floss pulled. So I think I'm going to do that one. And I think that after that, I'm going to do the Wicked one because I already had those. Remember, I pulled those when I went to the retreat. So, and yeah, man, before we know it, July's going to be here in my Flosstube retreat in New Jersey. I'm staying for 5 days. I'm very excited. So I leave on a Thursday and I come home on a Monday because the last year that I went, which was 2019, so it's been 3 years since I've seen these people, I missed all of Sunday. They had the retreat until Sunday at 6 p.m. and I totally missed it because I left really early Sunday morning. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss the last day. I said, so I am actually staying. So when it ends at 6 p.m., I'll probably go get dinner somewhere and just hang out in the hotel room and leave really early Monday morning. So I'm very excited though. It's going to be a good time. It's a big room. It's like 100 or 110 people going. Like, it's a lot of people. And but I mean, people that I don't see at any other retreats. And they have, you know, raffles, and you get a goodie bag, and it's a good time. It's a really good time. And the hotel is very nice. It's a Hilton, and they have a shuttle to the stitching store, and yeah, it's a good time. So I'm very much looking forward to that, because after that, my next like vacation is not until Labor Day. I have 2 vacations in September. Labor Day, Bill and I are going to Ocean City for a couple days for our anniversary. And then the end of September, I have the retreat in Ocean City. And then beginning of December, I have another retreat. So, but yeah. Okay, well, that's all the talking points I really had. So I'm going to read a motivational story that is called Wake Up Every Morning and Pretend Like What You Do Makes a Difference. Every Sunday morning, I take a light jog around a park near my home. There's a lake located in one corner of the park. Each time I jog by this lake, I see the same elderly woman sitting at the water's edge with a small metal cage sitting beside her. This past Sunday, my curiosity got the best of me, so I stopped jogging and walked over to her. As I got closer, I realized that the metal cage was in fact a small trap. There were 3 turtles, unharmed, slowly walking around the base of the trap. She had a 4th turtle in her lap that she was carefully scrubbing with a spongy brush. "Hello," I said. "I see you here every Sunday morning. If you don't mind my nosiness, I'd love to know what you're doing with these turtles." She smiled and said, "I'm cleaning off their shells. Anything on a turtle's shell, like algae or scum, reduces the turtle's ability to absorb heat and impedes its ability to swim. It can also corrode and weaken the shell over time." "Wow, that's really nice of you," I exclaimed. And she went on and said, "I spend a couple of hours each Sunday morning relaxing by this lake and helping these little guys out. It's my own strange way of making a difference." So I asked her, "But don't most freshwater turtles live their whole lives with algae and scum hanging from their shells?" And she replies, "Yes, sadly they do." And so I scratched my head and said, "Well then, don't you think your time could be better spent? I mean, I think your efforts are kind and all, but there are freshwater turtles living in lakes all around the world, and 99% of these turtles don't have kind people like you to help them clean off their shells. So no offense, but how exactly are your localized efforts here truly making a difference?" And the woman laughs, and she then looked down at the turtle in her lap, scrubbed off the last piece of algae from its shell, and said, "Sweetie, if this little guy could talk, he would tell you I just made all the difference in the world." So the moral, you can change the world, maybe not all at once, but one person, one animal, one good deed at a time. Wake up every morning and pretend like what you do makes a difference. And you know, it's even like, and I liken that to even YouTube videos. I mean, there have been many people that have messaged me privately and said, "I've had depression," or "I've blah, blah, blah." And just being able to listen to your videos just makes me feel better, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm just like anybody else, you know? That woman, of course, the smallest act of kindness can have a huge ripple effect. So don't ever discount doing something nice for someone, no matter how small it is. You know, I like to think that even though the end of my grandparents' life was not good, the things that my mom did for them made all the difference, that where they would have passed much sooner and probably suffered much more, especially my grandfather. My grandmother, it's sad that my mom thinks my grandmother didn't like her. My mom really thinks that. And I think dementia just ate away at the part of the brain that was my grandmother. So my grandfather, though, up until he passed, knew who we all were. His mind was fine. And he thanked my mother profusely for all the things that she did. And he would sit and have conversations and discussions with her. And he appreciated everything. So I like to think that she made a huge impact to them at the end of their life. But it doesn't have to be even something as grand as that. I mean, she took care of them for 4 years. But even just the smallest things. Don't ever stop and say, no, I'm not going to do this because it's not going to matter. It will matter. It will matter. Okay. So let's see, how are we going to continue to unfuck ourselves in this year of 2022? Did you hear that tear? That was a decent tear. All right, so today, like I said, is Monday, May 16th. Take responsibility for your experience of being alive. If you're fucking miserable, own it. Step up the ownership of where you are and where you are headed. I feel like enough people do not take responsibility for things, right? Everybody wants to blame. This happened because of this person, this blah, 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 blah. No. Yes, there are things, a lot of things out of our control, but you're responsible for you when it comes down to it. Okay. I am going to end this here. I hope you guys are all having a good start to the work week, a good Monday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing and spending about 38 minutes of your time with me today. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.